And we're live for another fireside chat. It's not really a fireside chat, but there's a fire. I'm beside it. We're chatting. There's not a fire. It's not on, but nonetheless. How is everybody doing? I'm very excited about this little conversation. I just feel like there's an endless amount of jokes to start with a turtle and an astronaut walk into a bar. So that'll be interesting. Hi everybody. I hope you're well. I hope you're staying safe and healthy and happy, sane. Praying for everybody out there. I figured I'd get on and answer some questions for a hot second, and or you can text me any questions to my number, and I'm just drinking water, nothing fancy. It's one of those things. Oh, thank you. You like the script? Thank you. Thank God somebody likes it. I haven't gotten any super negative comments, but I've gotten some, hints. When people just kind of say something, and you're just like, wow.
Okay.
Anywho, it's not directed at you. New album's coming along great. Thank you for asking. Very, very much appreciate that. I actually just did a wicked session yesterday with my man Jared Neal on the drums. So fun to see him again and hear him again. I love his accent. What else? What else do you guys want to know? What else can we let me know if you have any questions as well for the turtle, because I'll be honest, I haven't really prepared anything. I'm totally unprepared. That's what these fireside chats are all about. You know what I mean? Necklace. So a couple years ago, I just get excited when I'm able to process a question and actually verbally answer it at the same time. That's a really big accomplishment for me. That's multitasking, big multitasking test. The necklace is it's a you can't see it, but it's a telescope looking at stars, and it's just it's the dreamer. It's all about the dreamer. Dreaming big. Among the stars. There's a saying, I can't remember it right now. What else? Let me see. Your favorite song you did as the astronaut? No question. Never Gonna Give You Up. I mean, that was a highlight. Also, really enjoyed doing Bye Bye Bye. Yeah, that was a good time. That was a good time. Also, I would like to take credit. Not that I've watched the performance back a whole lot, so I don't know if it was a total failure, but there were no choreography things. There was no choreography for that song. We just went out and we did it one take, doing it live. Do you know what I mean? Who's your favorite singer? Well, Turtle, obviously, because he's watching. He's waiting. He's somewhere. Studio version of Bye Bye Bye. I'll think about it. Can't promise anything. But we've actually talked about doing all the songs that I did on Masked Singer on something. I don't know what it would be. You guys will have to tell us what you think it should be, whether it should be something like this, or whether it should be a series of YouTube videos, or acoustic versions of everything. We could do the whole mellow acoustic thing. It could be super dope too. Just a thought. What were your costume choices? Where's the song Tell Me? I see you, I hear you, and I'm here. And so is that song, I promise. Actually, we were just... I wasn't working on it yesterday, but I was listening to it yesterday. Working on sort of the next step for Tell Me and the song. Favorite Jesse McCartney song is definitely Friends, because obviously he wrote that about all his friends from The Masked Singer, so I think it's important. Alex said, can you ask Elle if she still hates me? Currently, she hates me. She's very angry at me because she's been up to some mischief in the yard, so I asked her to stay inside during this, and she's very disappointed. She's looking sadly through the window at me right now. I'm not terrible, am I? Hi. It just said say hi to me and it disappeared. So, hi. Do you have any, does it say in your design on the costume? Yeah, actually, the cool thing about the Astro costume was it was gold with blue. Now, while I won't sit here and take credit for all of those things, I loved the gold because the whole theme on the Wild Blue cover was blue and gold. And you'll notice in a lot of things we do a blue and gold gradient, frame around a lot of the stuff that we put out. So that's it was a reference to that. It was a reference to the color scheme for Wild Blue Part 1. And they actually did some really cool things after the fact because they kept like adding blue elements and very subtly, but it was always, I don't know, I love little things like that. I love how many of you guys are like, yeah, I totally called it from the first episode. I mean, I didn't see that happening. I really, you know. How did you? I know I always watch Instagram lives and I'm like, wow, these people aren't doing anything. But I know it's because they're reading. I'm reading. I'm trying to read and answer questions at the same time. It's super fun. Oh, thank you. I'm glad it was one of your favorites. Do you think some clues the judges missed were too obvious? A bit. A bit, but you know, that's the fun of the show is it could be anybody, you know. Although I do feel like it was pretty obvious. It was me. Were you ever nervous during a Masked Singer performance? Yes, every stinking time, because like there's nothing that can prepare you for walking around in a costume, and much less running around in a costume, dancing around in a costume. I never danced before. Singing in a costume is also more challenging than one might think. Just saying. Bowels and Bourbon, man, I love that you guys keep bringing that up. I really do. Like, we gotta figure out something. We gotta figure out something to do with that song, and lines, and and a few of those other ones that we've talked about. Alex, calm down.
Katie and Jess said they're ready.
Oh, fun. Okay, yeah. Well, we should let's get those guys in. Let's see. Jess, you know how this works. I hope. We'll find out. I think you've got to do the request thing. Right? Or do I click on something? Do I click on that? See, this is the fun part. You guys get to watch me figure out how to work Instagram. Hey, yay! What?
Yeah, press that one.
That one?
There we go.
Nice! Wait for it. Wait for it. Cue the music. Who is that? Wait for it. Connecting. Hey! That's not a fake background, is it?
No, that's a real background.
You jerk.
Hold on, I gotta turn my volume up a little bit.
Yeah, because you gotta hear me.
Can you hear me okay?
Sparky comments.
What's going on?
Dude, happy to talk to you. Happy to have you on the show this week. This week's episode of Fireside Chat. How are you, man? How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. We're actually doing a lot better now. We actually got out of Los Angeles. I'm at Katie's parents' place, and they have a place down in the Florida Keys. So we are, as you can see, oceanside, which is really, really nice. It was getting very claustrophobic in our home, and you know, they extended. I don't know how it is in Tennessee. You're in Tennessee, right?
Uh-huh.
So they extended it another like 3 months in LA, and we were going stir crazy. So her folks have been cooped up as well. So we were like, you know what? If we're gonna be cooped up, let's go crash at her parents' place.
I mean, it's not a. That's quite a place.
It's pretty dope.
It's literally
How are you, man?
palm tree wave in the wind and an ocean behind you. I mean, that's.
It's almost like a green screen. Like now that I'm looking at the frame
It looks fake.
on Instagram Live, I'm like, this kind of looks like one of those like terrible green screens, but it is actually real. You can see like, you know.
Yeah, it's real.
I should have worn a green shirt just to prove it.
Yeah, that's just showing off. Well, the Masked Singer, and oh boy, yeah, good connection problems. I had a blast watching you on the show. I had the added advantage of getting to watch you on the show before I was on the show, before I taped for the show. So
that's right.
You know,
that's
if
right.
I wasn't nervous before, I was definitely nervous at that point because no one knows who's going to be on the show. No one gets any sort of advance. Like and they do like, you don't get to watch anybody else's performance or much less hear anybody else's performance. Like every now and then I was lucky to like hear a little bit of something, but yeah, you killed it, dude. You absolutely killed it. I was cheering Turtle. I was yelling.
Oh, you're the man. And dude, you did such a great job too. Actually, like I honestly, when I look back in retrospect, it should have been you, me, and Frog, and you know, a couple others. But I feel like you should have made it down to that finale as well. And honestly, like, you know, it's funny. Like when I look back at the choosing of those songs, I kind of have a bone to pick with the producers because there was a song that I really wanted to sing. One of my favorite songs ever was Signed, Sealed, Delivered by Stevie Wonder. And we were talking, you know the process. You go through like 15, 20 songs.
Yep.
And I was like, I got to do this song. And they were all like, I'm like, what? Why can't I do this song? They're like, they wouldn't say anything. I finally got it out of them. They were like, well, Astronaut singing that song. And I was like, gosh. So I was like, all right, now I got to see who Astronaut is because that's a big song. And you murdered that song, dude. You killed it. I think it was actually of your performances, I think that one was one of my favorites. That, and I think you did, was it The Shape of You, the Ed Sheeran song. I think those were my two favorites. But you crushed, man. You were so fun to watch.
I remember the performances based on where I almost fell on stage. Shape of You, I almost fell at the steps. Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I almost fell at the beginning. I don't know. Did you have as many problems as I did, like just standing up?
Well, I was actually like back heavy because of the shell. Yep. So every time I was like stepping forward, it felt like, and you had a backpack too, I guess, right? You had like the astronaut pack, but that shell is so wide and so big that every time I would step forward, I had to like use my core strength to make sure I didn't fall backwards.
I thought the spiky back thing was kind of like a strategic thing. I thought it was meant to like maybe, I don't know, injure me before we went out for our head-to-head or whatever. I mean, there was like 4 or 5 times we were filming something together. And again, remember everybody, like when we're backstage, we're suited up and we don't know who the other person is, but they've got us like interacting right in these shots and they're filming these things and it was like I had to dodge your spiky backpack. Like,
dude, I straight took out 2 or 3 of the wardrobe ladies several times during the shooting of that show. My dog is scratching at the door to get her out.
I'll never ask it if that was is that Bailey?
Yeah, Bailey. Does Bailey want to make an appearance? Come here, Bae. Come here.
What are you doing?
You just can't. She has such anxiety. If I put her inside for even a second, she needs to be with us. Anyway, yeah, dude, it was here. Come here, Bae. Oh, there she is. Here, all right, here, take her back.
Fun fact.
But dude, I straight clipped 2 or 3 of the producers like running down the, downstage. Took out several. Like there was this one girl in wardrobe named Joan, and she was the sweetest, but she was also like maybe 5 foot, like on a great day. And I was running, and there was one day I completely took her down, and I had no idea. People were like, "You injured one of our staff."
It's crazy because like obviously they do a good job of like guarding our identity while we're doing the whole thing. And I had actually toured with Joan was on a tour. Like we didn't see each other, but I saw her and I recognized her. And it's one of those things where you like want to say hello, and you're like, I can't.
Oh, that's so funny.
But it's even funnier to me, like trying to explain to the world like how you and I met, because I think the fun fact, really, the takeaway, is they really do put us in cars, with our visors on, with our hoodies.
Yeah.
We barely look out the window, and we get different drivers every day. We're not really allowed to talk to them.
Yeah.
And we weren't. And also, anyway, it's as secretive as everybody thinks it is, but it's really hard. It's hard not to notice that when someone else in your neighborhood comes back home in an executive limo with the hoodie, with the visor. And I just want to basically confess to the world that eventually, after all was said and done, we figured out that we were neighbors.
We literally lived. So I live in an area of Los Angeles in like Laurel Canyon, and
beautiful spot.
And I remember seeing another black SUV. Literally, it's one like maybe 500 yards from my house. You literally walk up one hill, and there was the house that you were staying in, that you were renting throughout the shooting of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing an SUV sort of coming down the hill almost every morning and thinking like, what's going on? And it wasn't until later, until the finale, once everyone was revealed, that we realized that we were neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I run up and down that hill every single morning or night, and I could have easily have run into you getting out of your car in another visor.
Yeah, I don't run,
Crazy.
so you would have never run it.
But the chances of, like, you know, LA is such an expansive city. The chances that you being put up in a house literally down the street from us was absolutely insane.
Dude, I know. It was great once the finale happened. We still had time in LA. I was still working on the album, so we kind of got to enjoy being in the neighborhood versus like having to keep it secret all the time. And it was super fun. That one party at your place was lit. That was
So after the finale, Hunter came over, you guys, and we were celebrating / sort of, you know, drinking away our sorrows because, you know, the night angel took the cake. But also, that was one of the most fun nights I think we've had in a long time at the house. Hunter came over. He sat down at the piano, and we played every song in the book, including, what was that song that you posted the other day? Sometimes you want to go where...
I just remember sitting there and I was like, what song's going to sum up the fact that we all, like, because there's 30 people in the room that all had to lie to each other for the past, like, you know, 60 days, right?
Right.
So and the Cheers song came to my head because it's like, sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. Because on set, no one refers to you by your name. I did not hear my own name for 2 months.
That was the most uncomfortable thing is, hey, Turtle, do you need to use the restroom? Hey, Turtle, can I get you something to eat? Turtle, Turtle, Turtle. Even after the show was over, they kept calling me Turtle because they were so programmed to calling me Turtle that I'm like, you guys can call me Jesse now.
Yeah, the people that we've made friends with too, like our producers or whoever we're now friends with, still refuse to call me by my name. They still just use Astro, which I'm not against it. I like Astro. I mean,
It's a great name.
You know what I mean?
I think your parents were between Hunter and Astro anyway, so
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like kind of like 2 pages apart in the book.
Yeah, it worked out perfect. So what have you been up to, man? You working on this new album? When is it gonna drop? When are you finishing up? I gotta hear this thing.
Working on Red Sky. Feeling really good about it. I actually got to spend the day yesterday. So I had a socially distanced session, which was really bizarre, but I got to at least see and hear one of my favorite people play drums, one of my favorite drummers play and work on the album. And yeah, I mean, you know, it's like those little moments during the record making process when like something just comes to life that way. It's like, it's so exciting. And so I'm just soaking it in and really excited.
For all you guys watching, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but Hunter played me a few of his songs from the new album, and one of them made me cry.
His songs. I sorry, I didn't hear that.
What's that?
You broke up for a second. I just didn't know if you said hit songs or his songs. I'm just
both. I mean, for sure, his songs. Hit songs, pretty sure. There was one, and I won't drop the title, but there was one ballad that he played, and I literally had to leave the room and just go cry in my closet for 2 minutes and then come back out.
Which one? Say it. I've talked about all the songs. So
it was now I'm blanking on the title. It was called Bed of Roses or Roses. Roses. I always want to say Bed of Roses. I don't know. Maybe I have some sick fantasy. But no, dude, it was something else, man. It was such a beautiful song. I'm so excited for you to drop this thing.
Oh man, I appreciate it. When's your next release? I
just released my new single "Friends" that I played you. I played that for you before we dropped it, and we released that last.
Written about me and
yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. The video is gonna be Hunter and I just sort of streaking down the beach off into the sunset, and it's beautiful. It was directed by Ang Lee.
We've got to do these pre-interviews from now on. Really.
Oh look, now the sun's going down and I have this ring light and now I just look like a shine face. No, it's awesome. We released it last week. We are the video is in the middle of production. We're releasing that in about a week or two.
Nice.
But yeah, and the full album I'm hoping will come out in the next month or two. But this COVID thing has sort of put everything on hold. You know, I don't know how it's affecting you, but you know, we were hoping to tour this summer and that kind of like, you know, that didn't happen, and now even the fall looks like it may not happen. So
yeah, it's a crazy time, but well, I mean, you know, I've also got that one song of yours that I asked for you to get me to work on that I'm still messing around with. So you know, we'll see.
That's true. For all you guys, I mean, should we promise them that we're gonna do a song at some point?
We're gonna do something. We don't have.
We got to do something. I don't know what it's gonna be, but we got to do something at some point. Whether it's in Nashville or in LA. What do you guys think? Should we do a record together?
Okay. Obviously, I think it would be hilarious to do something you, me, and somebody else from the show. If you were to pick, who would it be?
Well, Night Angel will write it, and then we'll perform it. No, I don't know. I think we're capable songwriters. I think we've earned it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was like, I like 3, so I'm always trying to think like if we were gonna trio this thing. Somebody asked who would win a rap battle, and no wonder. No, so who do you think? Like, just tell me, who do you think would win in a rap battle, you or me? I think you.
I don't think me at all, because I was the whole time it was like going back to the show when I was most scared of Frog the whole competition, because I just knew that like if it came down to a point where I was gonna have to rap, like ain't nobody want to see me rapping ever. So I'm gonna let you take the mic if there's ever a moment where one of us has to rap, because it's not gonna be me.
Yikes. Yeah, no, dude, Frog was so lit to watch. Like I felt like I learned a lot from both of you guys on the show.
Frog was a pro. Frog was
like
the man.
Wise, it was just incredible.
He was amazing.
Yeah.
His stage presence every night, like just week in, week out, was just so threatening. Like you just knew the guy was there to win. And I really thought, because of the way the show had gone the first couple seasons, they had picked these big soul singers. I thought, well, maybe they're gonna, pick somebody else that's at the top of their game in their field, and maybe it will be a rapper. I was really thinking Frog was like gonna be, the deep threat. But it just goes to show how much we know.
We're still calling him Frog, but you guys don't understand. Like, it's ingrained in us. We cannot say anybody's actual name either.
Oh, right. Bow Wow.
I still call Jesse Turtle.
Yeah,
that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
That's who you are on my phone. You are an emoji.
Is there an astronaut? There is an astronaut.
Yeah, there's like 5. There's at least 2, right?
Yeah.
There's a few. Yeah.
There's a frog. There's an astronaut. There's a turtle. I don't think there's a night angel. I think you have to do like angel wings or something.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, what? Let's see if we can find any other questions. Anybody? Who's asking? Like, I've got 2 screens open right now, so I can try to like read and host. Is that what you call it?
We're looking for more Lindsay Trevor questions.
Oh yeah. Well.
And Tamara, they're all watching.
Oh, hi. Okay. I am so blessed, and I would like to give a shout out, because even though I've given a shout out on every single interview I've done, my dog's also very angry that she's not part of the interview. I cannot say enough about the people that I got to work with on the show, and the people make the place, like in every experience that I feel like we had in life, and I'm so grateful for the team that I had around me. And I think you had a couple of the same people. We can't say their names, but
we can't say their names. That's a good thing you said that, because I was about to drop their names, but they knew who they are.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like that show, there's so many moving pieces.
Okay, sorry. I had to think here.
There's so many moving pieces and so many moving parts, and we're on stage every week, but ultimately there's a solid core group of people that you work with that the show would be impossible to do without them. And so big shout out to all the producers of The Masked Singer, and all the people that worked in wardrobe, and they were just incredible.
Great question. What songs, other than Signed, Sealed, Delivered? Sorry, that's still fresh. I should have asked the question. What songs did you not get to perform that you were really looking forward to performing?
Never Gonna Give You Up. Everything Means Nothing If I Can't Have You. Shape of You. And Signed, Sealed, Delivered. Oh, and Story of My Life. Basically, all those 5. They reserved for the astronaut. I got the second pick of the litter, but that's fine. It's cool. I know who they love best.
Ouch. What?
Honestly, every one of those songs that you picked, I thought, like, at some point or another, I was like, maybe it was always on like our running list, of songs also. Mm-hmm. And it's just so funny, because you and I were like, we had a lot of the same choices, I think.
Good taste. Good taste. What made you? I never heard this. What made you pick the turtle thing?
It wasn't a bat, so I picked the turtle because it wasn't a bat, and it wasn't. There was another costume, I forget what it was, that they had that was literally just. It was like, it was bigger or as big as Miss Monster, and I knew that I was gonna want to dance and move around on stage, and I felt like wearing pants was gonna allow me to do that. So that was like the main thing. And then also the producers, they love their narrative, and so I think growing a thick shell over the years of being in the industry, that like really worked into the narrative well. So so between those two things, I think that's why we landed on turtle. But
Nice.
and I'm so happy it wasn't a bat, because a bat really during COVID, that would have been really great.
I mean, I think there's a lot you could do with that. Honestly, a lot of song choices. I mean, come on, like so many Batman references. Are you kidding me? Like you would have been Batman.
Yeah. No, I would have been COVID man. That's what they would have called me the entire.
Oh man. So, in all seriousness, though, there were a couple songs that like I was kind of bummed out that I didn't get to play. Not that again, like I very much went at it from like, there's no way I'm gonna make it past like round. Oh, hi, Ella. Hi, you want to come be a part of this? No, cool, that's fine. There were a couple songs that like, because I didn't honestly expect to make it past like the first episode, and then when we did, like, it was kind of like, oh, well, I guess I really should kind of be prepared just in case. But it's weird to be prepared for something just in case, like, you get unmasked. Now, I do love the fact that they never made me feel like getting unmasked was losing, right? Like, and that's what I love about the show. It's like, it's just fun. And but I started getting competitive after a minute, and I realized that I had to be prepared. And I'm sorry that I stole all your songs. It's good to know that now, and explains a lot about our interactions together.
You crushed it. You know what my battle song was, actually? What was your battle song that you went into battle with? I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes, so I'm covering up now. What was the? How's that look?
I can't wait for this I can't wait to be tagged in 1,500 versions of this picture.
What was the battle song that you performed?
That was, well, the Bye 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 was the SmackDown.
That's what I meant. The SmackDown. Bye Bye Bye.
I think it was the Shawn Mendes tune.
Oh, okay. So my SmackDown that I didn't end up performing, but I actually really wanted to, was dun 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 dun. Oh, Toxic, Britney Spears.
Wow,
that would have been interesting, huh?
That's exciting. You can do it now.
It's Britney, bitch. Yeah, that would have been one for the books. I'm actually kind of glad that's not going to forever live on the internet.
Yeah. Oh, it is now. It definitely. I mean, I'm saving this. Don't worry, I'll share it and I'll tag you. It'll be great. Let's see. What else? What have you seen? Anything else? You guys are asking great questions, by the way. I'm just trying to keep up with you.
Yeah, I can't read the questions like you can. They're much small. Like, I only see like, haha. I see like one or two questions at a time, so I don't get to see.
Yeah, I saw haha as well. Also, that's why I'm wearing specs, so I can.
Oh, somebody said favorite judge. Who is your favorite judge?
That's not fair.
That's kind of not fair.
Yeah.
I will say that what I like about that show and the judges on that show is that they're very good at playing their role, right? You have Robin Thicke, who's sort of like the voice of reason and the musician on the show, the singer-songwriter. He's the guy that, go ahead, let's do this. Go ahead, spray me. I'm getting sprayed with off. All right, I think that's good.
So many brilliant moments.
Okay,
I hope you guys just came for
it's turtle proof.
Oh my gosh.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just I'm getting eaten alive. I don't know what it is. The mosquitoes and the like no-see-ums, they're after me. But I really loved it. Like Robin was like the voice of reason. He was the guy that you could rely on for true critiquing. I guess Nicole too, to a certain degree. Especially though, as like a male singer, I looked up to Robin so much. So his voice really mattered the most to me. Jenny was just great at really pinpointing. She felt like the sniper of the group, where I feel like she knew who everybody was the earliest, from the beginning. Like, she was just very good at picking people out. Ken is your goofball, right? He's just like the guy who, you guys see the edit on Fox, but literally when we're shooting, it's like 20 minutes of Ken Jeong just like riffing non-stop. And you're just dying inside of that sweatsuit, of a costume.
And no
one
can see you laugh either. Like, you have to do something every time you laugh, because I laughed the entire first episode, and they were like, hey, like, you might want to, like, move, because it looks like you're stiff. It looks like you're not moving.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I was crying every time Ken spoke. And then Nicole was just very emotional. She was just very heartfelt, which was nice. So they all play their role very well. But I am a little partial to, in terms of, like, who my favorite judge was, I'm partial to Thicke, because he was always, for me, like, my biggest influence vocally. Before he was even Robin Thicke, he made an album called A Beautiful World. This was like 2004 or 5. He may have even made it before that. But it was before he was like this big superstar, and that album he wrote, produced, and sang entirely himself. And I remember, like, when I first moved to LA, I had this like Humpty of a car, and it didn't have a CD player. It was like a 1982 Ford Taurus or something, and I had to put a CD deck in it, and I did it just so I could play Outkast and TLC, Babyface, and Robin Thicke. Like, those were like the 4 CDs I had brought from New York to LA to put into this new CD deck, and Robin Thicke was one of them. And so for me, like, that was such a full circle moment,
I get that. I totally get it. I remember you telling me about that album when we went over. I just like, I love Ken so much. I did like, Nicole was always, like you said, kind of in touch with the sort of emotional side. I felt like that was the part that was working on the hardest, because, like, it's easy to, like, or not easy. It's not easy at all. Nothing about that show is easy, but, well, for you, but not for me. And I knew that, like, for me, if I just got stuck singing something, it would be boring, and I knew that I had to, like, put a little bit more into it, And I felt like every time she gave me a reaction, I was like, I just felt like I had done something right, It just made me feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. Jesse, what's your favorite Hunter Hayes song?
Oh, man. It's got to be your debut single, man.
I think he just said Roses a minute ago, so that counts. I'm not going to...
Well, no. Dude, your songwriting has always been, like, super elite. I think when you started, your songwriting was well above and beyond most people your age. Certainly well past where I was at when I wrote my first, like, hit record. I think that this new album is, to me, like, some of the best music you've done. It's hard not to be romantic about Wanted. Like, I think that song in many ways is just like, it's just so perfect. It's a lot, like, it's like, to me, it's like, it's very similar, actually. It's like the country version of like A Beautiful Soul, I think. Like, it's got like everything you need that makes a girl just, it says all the right things. And your voice is like butter on that song.
Okay, just getting uncomfortable. I really appreciate that, dude. But I did not expect.
Also, I felt like you were singing it to me the whole time. Sometimes I draw a bath when I'm really lonely, and I listen to just that. And now that I've heard Roses, I just put Roses in the bath, and I listen to both simultaneously on 2 different Bluetooth speakers.
So somebody asked me what my favorite Jesse song is. I have a few, if I'm honest, but there is the one that I asked you to work on it, and whether I'm like the version that I work on ends up getting out in the world or not. That's like, there's zero pressure, and like you got to make decisions based on your album. But I did love this song the first time I heard it, and I don't know if I probably can't say it, can I? I shouldn't say it.
Which one?
I'm not gonna say it. Well, the one I'm working on.
Oh, that song.
That one.
Should we drop it? Should we tell them the name of one of the songs that's coming out or that's on the album? Go ahead. I'll let you tell them. I'll let you tell the people.
I know it's forthcoming because I was lucky enough to hear some of your stuff. Like, we heard Friends, we heard yours, we heard this next song.
You can tell them what it is. Go ahead. Tell them what it is.
Y'all, there's a super different song called Lemonade. I can't wait for y'all to hear. It's groovy. It's cool.
I actually think I'm in the middle right now of sequencing the album, Hunter. You know, and like to me, it's the most fun, but it's also the most painstaking because it's so permanent. And I've done like I don't know a dozen sequences now, and I think Lemonade is gonna close the album. I think it's like it feels like just such a button on the album. And but yes, I gave a song called Lemonade to Hunter to work on, and he's been kind of tinkering with it, and it sounds great. But you guys will hear an acoustic version, I think, on the album. But
I'm only ready for it.
I think that was Hunter's favorite.
Yeah, it's so good. It's really good.
I appreciate it, man.
What else? What? Well, so people are asking me what my favorite song that you performed.
Oh yeah.
Well,
oh yes, Hunter. Tell me what you love about me.
It was overdue.
Okay.
So I have a bone to pick with you as well because There's Nothing Holding Me Back was on my list, but too late. Fix You. Excuse me. Like, I worked really hard to like earn that song, and then it just like slipped out of my hands. I had no idea what happened to it. I was just like, why are we talking about Fix You? That's all we talked about for like 4 or 5 weeks before we started taping. Then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, no. Or
Yeah.
How would she have said it? She'd be like, yeah, I can't do it now. I'm on the spot. But
oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, she would have said, yeah, you know, I think this is one of the producers on the show. Yeah, you know, the thing is,
This makes me happy.
I think the Turtle has got that song. Yeah, it was kind of it. And then the other producer, this is maybe too inside for everybody watching. There's another producer that would be like, yo, Astronaut, my guy.
Yeah, we were on first name abbreviation basis, so it was Astro. It was always Astro.
He'd be like, listen, man, just do you, all right? Unfortunately, Turtle's got that song locked up, but yo, you got this, bro. You can do any song you want. Like, no, dude, I want to do Fix You. Can you just go get it done? Yeah. That song to me was one of my favorites because it was so simple. It was one of those melodies that I felt like obviously everyone connects with that song. It means something different to everybody that listens to it, right? But the melody that Chris Martin does on that, it's just so pure, and there are no tricks, there are no runs, there are no licks on the song. Like, it's literally just the keys and your vocals, and you're completely out there, and you're so vulnerable. And I just thought like that week I thought like that would be a big moment for me to just do something with no frills, no dancing, just standing on the stage. But that was actually my favorite performance, I think, of the whole competition. That and the opening week, Kiss from a Rose, I thought were my 2 favorites.
Kiss from a Rose was when I got scared. Watching that was when I was like, oh shit, great. So somebody asked, were you fans of each other before you met in person? And I have to confess to the world, this is really uncomfortable. I don't even know how to say this, but like your poster was on like the wall of like half, okay, like 2 or 3 people that I dated, and like
I didn't know where you're going with that. I didn't know if you were gonna say
on my wall,
on your wall, or in your locker, and which would have been cool, you know. But
no,
okay.
I was always surrounded. So to meet you in person, at first, honestly, when I first came over to your house, it took me like 30 minutes to get comfortable and to get uncomfortable, because I was definitely uncomfortable first off. And also, like, it's weird to connect with somebody that you've both been through this awesome but super weird experience. Like, you're kind of like learning what you can talk about, what you don't want to talk about. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah. Well, I can tell you that I was not really hip to country music until probably like 2012 or 13. I've been so, engulfed with pop music my whole life, and it wasn't until I met my girlfriend at the time, now my current, my fiance, that I really got introduced to country music in a meaningful way. And you were one of the artists at that time when I was starting to listen to country radio and working with producers who actually had been producing country. that you were on the radio all the time, and Katie said like, oh my gosh, you gotta hear this singer. And I remember just like immediately falling in love with your tone. But if it wasn't for my fiance, like I don't think I'd have the affinity for country music that I now have, and realize how important it is, especially in this country, but really around the world, in terms of storytelling, just how important it is. And in fact, I think it wasn't until really falling in love with country in like 2014, 15, I did a camp in Nashville where I started writing country music, that I actually became as strong of a writer. Like I became a stronger writer because of listening to songs like yours, of your own, and other songwriters that were on country radio at the time. And I just remember thinking like, man, their storytelling is on a whole nother level. So we were huge because of Katie. I'm became a huge fan of yours.
Well, thanks, Katie.
You're welcome.
Katie's over here.
That's amazing. What are you listening to right now? Like, is there anything that you're like you have on repeat?
Yeah, dude. I love Alec Benjamin.
Yeah, big fan.
I mean, he's been around now for a few years, I know, but like his like the last couple songs he's put out in the last few months are just to me so good. And he's got that vulnerability thing that he's just and again, like he's another example of a writer who's just so far beyond his years. I don't know how old he is, but I think he's like in his early 20s, right? He's like 22 or 3.
Yeah,
and he's so talented, and his songwriting is on like another level, and he's got such a distinct style of writing that sounds so original. So I love Alec Benjamin. What about you? What are you listening to?
Dude, I'm all over the map. I'm obsessed with the Tame Impala stuff right now. Like I'm on a serious Tame Impala kick, and just because like there's so many of those sounds that I was chasing when I moved to Nashville, and I was trying to find a way to put some of that into my music. It was, you would never draw the comparison, but there are a lot of similarities between like some of the John Mayer tracks, some of the new stuff from Tame Impala. There's just like older instrumentation, like like a timeless record. I'm obsessed with this stuff, so I've been studying that. Yeah, what was I on before that? I mean, honestly, I started going back in time. Like, I started going back to like some early Eagles records.
Nice.
Yeah, because I feel like lately I've had to make time for me to love music, not music, and because when you're on tour, like that's easy. Like I have 2 hours of warm ups that I do, and I always have an album that I like throw into that I sing along with or listen to. When you're traveling, you're going to listen to music. When I'm working in town, even when I'm riding, I'll listen to music on the way into the ride or on the way back. We're not doing any of those things. So
I know.
Create moments for me to actually appreciate new music, and I set up like this super dope setup. And like one of my favorite things to do is just to sit down and listen to an album and really study it.
What are you watching on TV? Anything? I know you've been in the studio, but have you seen anything recently you're in love with?
I'm obsessed with this YouTuber, and I'm just gonna be honest, okay? Everybody's gonna call me a nerd, and I don't care. I go anywhere I go somewhere between watching live concerts, reruns on YouTube,
Okay.
to like documentary type stuff. I love interviews because I love like being able to like read an artist. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how many Chris Martin interviews I've watched lately. And I love videos of dudes flying planes, like, because that's what I want to do. I want to get my pilot's license at some point. It's a pipe dream, but I'm inching my way closer. So I just started like watching every video from this one guy, Trent Palmer. He's a drone videographer guy. Anyway, it's a blast. You guys should go check it out. That was a terrible plug, but whatever. It's honest.
Katie gets really upset when I sit there and watch 5-hour documentaries on dragonflies on YouTube, which is something I often do.
Really?
Yeah. I get lost on YouTube all the time, and it's usually just watching, how to set a mouse trap. I don't even have a mouse to catch. I just something I kind of always wanted to know, the different ways. But yeah, I get literally like in the middle of this quarantine, I have spent endless hours wasting my time learning trivial information I will never need to use.
Have you done your own YouTube series sharing what you've learned? Because I think the rest of the world would love to know that.
No, but I plan on it. I'm going to win awards at some point, on my rap trapping capability. I don't even know what we're talking about. I will tell you, there is a show, though, that you have to watch that I love. It's on Apple TV or Apple Plus called Defending Jacob. Have you seen this?
I haven't even heard of it.
Chris Evans stars in it, and I forget the name of the other actors. They're incredible. But it's about this young kid who gets convicted of a murder, and his father is the DA, or charged with the murder, and his father's the DA. I haven't watched the last episode. I'm like 6 or 7 episodes in, but it is unbelievable drama. Definitely check that one out.
Nice.
Good one.
All right.
Somebody agrees Defending Jacob so good.
Nice.
Somebody wrote, I heard that's amazing, which means they've never, ever heard that it was amazing. They just want to agree. We should probably mention it. Oh, yeah. Hey, how come the sun hasn't set at all where you are? Where are you? You're in Tennessee right now?
Heaven.
Because the sun hasn't moved. I'm like, what? How, like, when does the sun go down? It's almost 9. Well, it still looks like it's 12 noon where you are, and the sun is completely set behind me.
In Tennessee, it's 7:46 right now.
Oh, I guess, yeah, you're an hour behind us. That's right.
Yeah.
I thought you were on East Coast time.
It's like a sunset situation, but there's no sunset, so we're just enjoying the part of the sky that we can see.
Nice.
I've had some great weather in Tennessee lately. I am very grateful because too many cloudy days would have probably made me crazy. We had some great days in LA while we were there too, man. That was.
Well, when are you coming back? You can stay anytime. We should write some music.
Dude, yeah, absolutely. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. And if not, I'll come to Nashville and we'll
I think you can do that anyway. I mean, I think it's only fair. I spent 2 months in your city. I mean, like 2 days at least. Come on.
We'll come to you.
You know?
We'll come to you.
Dude, thank you so much for doing this. I'm so glad.
I miss you, man. I miss you. You're such a talented guy, and I have so much respect for you, and I know that everything you're doing right now is going to be a huge success. You guys got to hear this new music that Hunter's working on. Thanks for having me, dude.
Thanks for the plug. No, thank you for the kind words, dude. I'm a massive fan, and I love the fact that we were on that awesome, crazy show together. So stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy.
Cheers, brother. I'm going to go draw a bath and listen to Roses right now.
There's some things you can't anyway. Everybody, thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for your questions. I love you guys, and stay happy, healthy, and peaceful, and I'll work on that.
All of those things. Cheers, Hunter. Appreciate you, man.